All right. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the court.
Oh man.
Mm-mm-mm. I'll tell you, this world is crazy, man.
We're losing our minds. We're done. We're done. We're done. It's a matter of time. We're just done. Just roll up the windows and lock the doors. We're done.
I don't think rolling up the windows and locking the doors is gonna help nothing.
Roll up the windows. And, I read the other day where 40% of Americans are not willing to fight for America if we were invaded. And I thought it was be all Democrats. Yeah. Huge percentage were Republicans, like
I think
33%.
everybody is tired of the BS, man.
So
But let me ask you this. Let
where,
me ask
where are
you
you going
this.
to go? Where are you going to
If
go? Yeah.
you're gonna batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
Forget fighting on foreign soil. You know what I'm saying? But I
Well,
mean,
I'm,
if
I'm
you
talking
go,
about if we're invaded here.
if you're invaded here,
Yeah. 40% won't fight for us.
wow, that's a
I've been prepping my whole life for this. And you look at my house, I've been prepping for it my whole life.
yeah,
I might last the first 2 minutes,
yeah. It's kind of like
but I'm going to give it a whirl.
oh man,
Are we live? Are we live?
you're right. I'm forgetting what I'm doing.
Can you hear us in there? We hadn't cussed yet, have we? We hadn't cussed yet, have we?
We need to get this thing shared out here.
Yeah. Have you ever tried any of that Texas cedar fever?
I don't even know what that is.
It's for allergies. This time of year when all the bugs and all the stuff is in bloom.
No, I have not.
Okay. It's called cedar fever because cedar's the worst in this part of the world. Believe it or not, even worse than pine.
No, I can believe that for sure. Let's go ahead and get that out there.
Did you put it on your page
I
or
put it on
not on
not on
payroll?
payroll.
All right.
Hmm.
Hmm. All I got is Rashid's interview.
Yeah,
Here we go. Here we
just
go. Here we go. All right.
See if you can find it. See if you can find us. Because you found it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, put it on my website, put it on my Facebook. You got it? He's got it.
All right.
We got some people tuning in.
I'll tell you what, we'll go to this. Because last week, I'm just now figuring out how this whole thing works because it's like last week we
Kind
started.
of a tape delay deal here.
Well, yeah, there's a delay, but there's also chat that pops up in this on the side here.
Yeah.
Suggestion that audio streams current bit rate is lower than the recommended. I don't even know what bit rate is.
How fast it's going out. The problem with that is we have no control over that. That's going through.
That's going through broadband.
Yeah,
guys.
that's going through the broadband here in Jasper.
Broadband by a company that knows how to produce it. Son of a. Like and share, like Uncle Bucky. Now what?
Tell everybody. Tell everybody.
What up? Like and share.
Tell everybody.
Help us out. We got to get to 1,000 by May.
Yes.
We got to get to 1,000 by May. We're actually doing pretty good. To be honest with you. Kind of shocking.
Need it up, man. Need to get to 1,000. More people need to be seeing my pretty face.
Dang, bro. You are listening to Not on the Payroll right here at KJS 107.3 FM. Hey, if you have not liked, shared, subscribed, click the bell, click the hell, I don't know what. I mean, there's a lot of things
There's a lot of stuff you can do, yeah.
Go click on it. Hey, go click on it. We'd appreciate it. Go over to notonthepayroll.com. You can check us out on Facebook, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, look at us on YouTube. You can see us. See my handsome face.
We are live right now, and yeah, man, check it out. See what's going on. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers.
Please
Subscribe over at YouTube, and if you click the bell, from what I understand, that actually notifies you when we go live. We only do that occasionally, like every Thursday night.
Thursday night, man.
But man, I'm your host, Jay Sharp, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Kerry Thomas. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How was your week, sir? It's spring.
It was spring.
But it is spring.
It is spring.
Yeah, look at the pollen on your vehicle, man.
We got to spring.
Look at the pine pollen on your vehicle, man.
Does it seem like time is speeding up?
Well, it's supposed to, isn't it? It's that daylight savings business.
I thought the aliens were working this thing over. I don't know.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to blame.
Well, if you are just tuning in, this is your first time to listen to us, man, you are in for a treat.
Always.
We're kind of a mix between, I don't know.
We're all over the place.
We're a rank heathen and a bona fide saint. We're somewhere in the middle. And, we appreciate you for tuning in. Here's the thing. We are proudly sponsored by, Stuart Glass and Lake Erie Pond. If you haven't been to Stuart Glass, I just had them actually fix another chip on my window this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you going, man?
Yeah, it's just driving up and down the roads, man. You pick up chips here and there. And I don't think they make glass like they used to, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe
going up and down 190?
Maybe it's just Ford glass. I don't know.
It could be that Ford glass.
But nonetheless.
Not that where it's coming from.
Stuart Glass hooked it up. They took care of me. You've got Sammy and Vicky Stewart over there. And you've also got my man Craig. He's hooking people up with glass. Hey, in your vehicle, also at your house. So if you got some jacked up, like I said last week, if you're throwing a dog through the window, they can help the window out, but you might want to call somebody else for the dog. But nonetheless, we do appreciate them for sponsoring us. And sometimes sponsoring us is not easy.
No.
It ain't easy sponsoring some fellas
No.
like us
And we appreciate it.
because sometimes we open our mouths big enough to put 2 feet in. And other times we might hit you right between the eyes with some truth. So this is all in, this is what we call an opinion show. And we open up the phones, we allow you to talk as well. And hopefully we all find Jesus together. You know what I mean? The other sponsor, proud sponsor of the show here is Lake Area Pond. If you're not ready for the zombie apocalypse, what are you doing? If you're not ready for World War III, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, for the love of Pete, we could be invaded.
It might happen next week the way things are going.
Could be invaded. Although our fearless leader could barely tie together sentences talking about food. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Lake Area Ponds got you hooked up with all kinds of weaponry. The nice part is, don't worry about the shortages on ammo. They've got you covered. I think they bought them all out.
Good.
So they got you hooked up. If you're looking for pistols, rifles, shotguns, the whole 9 yards. If you are looking for jewelry, they've even got jewelry up there. So if you want to rock the bling while you're rocking the 9mm CZ, which is I still have yet to break out.
You have not shot your CZ yet, Jay? Come on, man.
I know it's going to be accurate.
It's a CZ. It will not fail to fire. It's a good gun.
I think it's
a good gun.
I need to take an entire morning and just go spend time
and just
with those
and shoot
weapons
it.
of mine.
Yeah, take your wife with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's got her.
She's got a new weapon, doesn't she?
Yep,
take her with you.
She's actually a pretty good shot. So, but here's the thing.
Keep you in line.
Exactly. Lake Area Pond is where you need to go, and you need to get strapped up. If you don't like loud bangs, if you don't like loud noises, here's the deal. You still need to be ready for the zombie apocalypse.
Absolutely.
Because and honestly, I've never seen somebody use a bow and arrow on a zombie, but at least as far as the movies go. But I think you could probably pull it off. I mean, they get you a good broadhead and work that sucker over.
They're doing Walking Dead. You haven't seen that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, one of them carries a bow and arrow with him.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You could probably get you a Walking Dead bow and arrow down there.
Yeah.
So you could get everything from saddles and all kind of stuff, man. Right down. If you can imagine it, Lake Area Pond's got it. We appreciate both of our sponsors. If you're out there,
musical instruments, don't they?
They got musical instruments. If you're one of those who's not a fighter,
a lover.
If you're a lover and you're one of those who is going to play the song until the ship goes down, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember, you know where I'm referencing.
Yeah, I am.
Are you up to speed on that?
We talk about Titanic.
Yes. Yeah, at least from what I saw in the movie.
Yeah.
Those guys played the song until it was over.
Yeah, near God to thee.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And they were near to God by the end.
They were by the end, yeah.
But here's the thing. Lake Area Pond's got you covered. We appreciate our sponsors. We appreciate you for tuning in. If you've got something that you want to chat about, we'd love to hear from you. We got a lot to chat about tonight. We've got transsexual swimmers. We've got 4 days off or 4 days of schooling. So it's a 4-3 looking like it's going to here in Jasper. We've also got teachers quitting down there in Buna.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're finally wising up.
I don't blame them.
We've also got schools calling the day off for rain. And we want to talk about that. We got a lot of things we want to talk about. We want to talk about the study. I don't know how recent it was, but it was a pretty recent study about about daylight savings times and the cause and effects of that on the human body. But nonetheless, if you've got something you want to chat about, give us a call, 384-2626. That's 384-2626. If you're out there and you support the First and Second Amendment and you would like to throw your shoulder into this show behind us as a sponsor, all you have to do is go over to notonthepayroll.com, click on the button at the top that says sponsorship, and it will lead you to Jesus. It will take you right there to the throne. So here's the thing. You just have to shoot us an email, and we can talk to you about it, and maybe we'll work a deal out. So if you're out there, I mean, you could be any kind of business, honestly. We're not
No,
we're not a respecter of businesses. I mean, you could be a restaurant,
yeah, we love all business.
you could be a funeral home,
We're capitalists.
you could be you can really be any kind of business.
Sure,
Tire shop.
sure,
I'm game.
sure.
Just call us up. Hook us
Sure.
up.
We're running dog capitalists big
We'll hook
time.
you up. We got some cool news coming up though. May 3rd. May 3rd, we have we've inked the deal. We've inked the deal with Kenneth Weeks, who is the county judge over in Newton County, and we've also got Mr. Ronnie Cochran. I saw a video of Ronnie Coleman earlier today.
Okay,
That's
really?
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, very big.
very big.
Ronnie Cochran, not that big of a guy, not like Ronnie Coleman,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, it will be YouTube Live. And if you're over there in Newton County and you want to get your questions in, all you have to do is go over to the portal directly on notonthepayroll.com. It says question and answer portal at the top. You click on that and it will take you off to the races and you can ask your questions. And we're going to sift through them. We're going to be the moderators. So what do you
That
think
should be
about
interesting.
that? How do you feel about that?
I'm game. I'm ready to go.
Is it your first moderation of this type of deal?
Of one of those, yes.
One of these.
Of one of those, yes. How about you? Have you
I
done
don't
this
think I've ever
before?
moderated.
No, I don't. I was just wondering if you'd ever done it before.
I
This
don't
should
think-
be interesting.
I've been more behind the scenes,
Okay.
and I normally try to use people who are a little bit more intellectually inclined than myself. So I try to stay behind the buttons. But hey, we're going to go for it. We're going to try it this time.
This should be interesting.
Let's see what happens. The nice part about it being YouTube Live, some people have asked, why are you not opening this up to the public? Why are you not opening it up to the public? And I'll tell you why. There's a very, very, very good reason why. And the reason is because it's what we wanted to do. And and the truth of the matter is, I don't care who you are on the planet. If you don't have access to YouTube, you don't have a phone. You don't have a cell phone anymore. So you can chime in. You can see what's going on. You can see it live happening. We're also recording it, so you'll be able to see it if you miss the live.
If you miss the show, yes.
And here's the thing: I don't know if some people like to dress up, like my co-host here. You like to dress
I'm
up.
gonna wear a suit that night.
I'm going to try to find a suit between now.
That should be interesting. I just can't wait to see this suit that you're going to wear.
I'm going to try to get dialed in on the suit. So
do you have a tie? Do I need to bring you a tie?
I'm going to have to buy everything. I'm going to have buy dress shoes, honestly, and dress socks. I don't have dress socks. That's part of the perils of being a redneck. But nonetheless, and not having enough funerals in your life. You know what I mean? I mean, because
Gonna have to buy a tie.
I'm going to have to buy a tie.
And this is a guy who has over 100 ties. So
yeah. So there's that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to chime in, give us a call, 384-2626. But I am honestly stoked about the fact that we're going to get to.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're having the community ask the questions
Right.
or send the questions at us. We're going to sift through the questions, and then we're going to present those at the event, at the debate. And you, the citizens of Newton County, get to sit back in your pajamas. Some of you don't ever get out of your pajamas, but here's the thing. You get to sit in those
I
pajamas.
don't want to think about what they consider pajamas.
Well, exactly. But you can drink your beer and you can sit there and eat your popcorn and you can enjoy the show. And it's going to be on us. And so here's the thing. If you've got a question, go over to the Q&A portal there at the top of notonthepayroll.com. And it's the blue portal, I think it is. The red portal will be lit up the night of. And that'll actually be the live debate. So there's it.
Exactly.
Right now, if you click on it, it's going to take you to all of our videos. So
And that will be what night again?
that's going to be May 3rd.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. I think that's a Tuesday night.
Very good.
And we should be off to the races. What's your take on this? Now, I'll be honest with you.
What do you want to be honest with you?
The transgender thing
Okay.
is still relatively new
Right.
in the context of society.
Well, there's always been people that.
I'm talking about far as the narrative,
Okay.
the overall narrative.
Okay.
And it's almost like, for me, just my vantage point is you've got you've got this newly, it's not newly developed, but I think it's newly appreciated. Okay.
I don't know if
Position.
appreciated is the word. I think the word is more accepted.
Well,
Would be
appreciated, accepted.
accepted.
Here's the thing. Okay. So
If you
from a,
really want to call it
so from
accepted,
a narrative
I can't think of
standpoint,
another word.
yeah.
Anyway.
So from a narrative standpoint, nationally, it's part of the, being woke and all this stuff is a part of allowing these individuals who are transgender
Right.
to participate in sports. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think that they need to have a male and female category and then a transgender category.
I think that's what the
I think
NCAA is going to wind
I
up having
think
to do.
that's the smartest move.
I think that's what they're going to have to do.
And I think you have to consider the chromosomes at some point.
Well,
Because I can tell you this, a woman, a biological woman, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if a biological woman wants or feels like she's a man, as opposed to a biological man feeling like a female, if you put those two together, you still have a biological male
male and a biological
beating
female,
up
a
or
biological female.
or out swimming.
Well, here was the problem, Jay. You know, the Leah Thomas, no relation, by the way. Leah Thomas, of course, is from the University of Pennsylvania. Uh, they, I'm going to say they as the pronoun, they swam the last 3 years as a guy at the University of Pennsylvania. Went through puberty and became basically an adult male. Well, in their senior year, they decided they would transition to become a female.
The fastest female
The
on
fastest
earth.
female presently within the NCAA. As a guy, they were ranked number 455, 430.
It was 400 plus. We'll just say.
400 plus, we'll say.
So what you're saying is, let me just for clarification, not the fastest male swimmer.
Not the fastest guy, and certainly was not going to the NCAA finals
Okay.
of their first 3 years as a man. And of course, they transition and start swimming as a female and immediately become one of the top ranked females in the country. And of course, they proved at the first final that they were in. They came in first in the 500-meter freestyle event.
And from what I understand, now this individual's name is Thomas, right?
Right.
Leah Thomas.
Leah Thomas.
Okay. She was actually smoking a cigarette when the next two came in. She was up on the
that
side.
far ahead. She was very far ahead. Yeah.
She smoked everybody.
Yeah. Way far ahead.
Or he smoked everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for all practical purposes, it's. I still think that she's a biological male.
Right.
As far I don't care.
Right.
I don't care if she's a guy, as far as I'm concerned at this point. Still.
Sure.
And I'll be honest with you. I think she was supposed to win the next 2 or 3 events that she was in,
right,
but did not. A lot of people are saying that she threw the event so to take the heat off of her.
Well, it's
as a matter of fact, in the 100-meter freestyle, came in dead last.
Yeah, man, it's such a strange. I mean, here's the thing. Nobody in this generation at this point wants to hurt anybody's feelings. And if somebody is feeling a certain way, right?
Right.
Then on some level we have to respect those positions, right?
Right.
But in the long run, I think when we start allowing, it's like on the UFC side of things and the fighting side of things, when you allow a biological male to beat the crap out of a biological female.
Well, we had this in the UIL wrestling. Go ahead and take the
Go ahead, caller.
Story then.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes.
Good evening.
I would just like to say I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate your show.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you giving people an opportunity to speak their mind and to voice their opinion.
Sure.
Now, my opinion on the issue that you're speaking about now, I have one thing to say. What they eat don't make me fat. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. That's on them.
Right.
They still have to kind of, in the sports world or whatever, I don't know what these people are thinking. Should it be separated? decide that you're a female, want to be a male, and you put yourself in that position,
Right.
and you get what you get.
All right. So let me ask you something.
I'm saying you want to compete.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do with your body is whatever you want to do with your body. But
All
if
right.
you decide you want to compete in the arena where a male is dominant, and like you said, a female out there getting the crap beat out of her or whatever, it's like you put yourself in that position. I'm not gonna say you get what you deserve, but
Well, there's a situation. There's a situation where I think the individual's name is Fallon Fox, and Fallon Fox is a biological male,
mm-hmm.
and or they're transgender, and they identify as a female. And so what they've done is this is outside of the swimming situation, but what they've done is they've allowed Fallon Fox to actually step in the ring with females and, honest to God, basically ragdoll a group of females mercilessly.
This happened in the UIL a few years ago.
Yeah.
The UIL has wrestling,
Okay.
and we don't have it here, but you go up to
it's big.
the Panhandle, and it's big. And there was a female who was transitioning to a male, was already taking the male hormone and everything
Right.
like that. And the UIL said, no, you've got to wrestle as your birth
Right.
sex.
Okay.
And she was wrestling as a girl in her weight class.
Right.
Never mind, she'd been taking male hormones, I think,
Performance enhancing drugs.
exactly,
Right.
steroids for all
Right.
practical purposes,
Right.
for 2 years.
Wow.
And of course, she beat everybody up and
Sure.
every girl up because
Yeah.
she was at that point in time a guy.
Sure.
But the UIL said, go ahead. Go ahead, Colby.
Let the transgenders compete against the other transgenders.
I agree with that 100%.
I mean, it's like, come on, you got men competing against men, women competing against women. So to make it fair, let the transgender compete against the transgender.
That's
what I think.
I think it's a good idea. And honest to God, if that was the case, I would have my money on Caitlyn Jenner. So I'm just saying, we've already been down that road.
I'm just saying.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your call.
All right. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to get this on traffic.
Absolutely. Have a good night. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there and you want to voice your opinion, hey, chime in. Help us out here. We're all trying to find the light together. That's the whole point of this show. I know it doesn't seem like that sometimes. It gets muddied up with some personal events and some things that go on in the community and the city, and sometimes our message doesn't quite get across the broadband, if you know what I mean. But here's the deal. We appreciate you, the listeners out there. We appreciate everyone in this city. We'd also like to throw out another invite to the city council. I don't want to belabor this point, but we'd like to throw out another invite to the city council. Even Kramer Service Group. I'd also like to throw out an invitation to Nathan Watkins, who is the very debonair, might I say.
Well dressed.
Well dressed. If you didn't know any better, you would think the man was kin to like a Matthew McConaughey.
Me?
I would say a Matthew McConaughey. He's kind of got that vibe about him. Yeah, he's slick cat, man.
Really?
I'd like to provide an invite to him as well to come on the show, or hey, we can do a one-on-one interview, whatever the case is, specific to what the game plan is now as far as broadband. But nonetheless, so I think the consensus is that it might be smart to have transgenders as a group of their own competing together. I mean,
I think that's a good move. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a good move, and I don't know what the NCAA is going to do. You can rest assured they're sitting around as we speak, trying to come up with something new.
Well, I'm sure when Caitlyn Jenner spoke up and said that, gave her opinion about this situation, which was
Caitlyn Jenner said that Gia Thomas shouldn't have competed.
Leah Thomas.
Leah
Yeah,
Thomas.
Leah Thomas.
Leah.
Yeah.
I keep on wanting to call her Gia.
I don't
But
know,
it's
man.
Leah Thomas.
I don't know. All I can say is this: more power to everyone. If you're on testosterone, or if you've been on testosterone all your life, I mean, have at it, man.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of a biological female.
The girl who competed in UIL wrestling, she did not want to wrestle girls. She wanted to wrestle boys.
Interesting.
Because, yeah, she says, look,
Yeah,
I want to be a boy. I want to fight boys.
sure.
But the UIL wouldn't let her.
They wouldn't allow.
No.
Interesting. So tell me what your thoughts are about the situations going on in schools right now. Because
Which school? Which
well,
school we
I mean,
talking about?
well,
we
I'm-
talking
I'm
about the
just talking-
4 days in Jasper?
I think it's smart.
Do you really?
I think it's a smart move.
You know, here is my thoughts behind why they're going to go to 4 days.
Okay.
I think they can't get enough teachers or substitutes.
Sure.
And because of that, they're going to go down to 4 days. The problem with that is this. What are parents going to do who use the school district for childcare?
I think that's going to be a big question.
That's going to be a problem.
I think you're going to have a lot more latchkey kid situation in a way bigger way than what it was in the 80s.
Oh, I know it will be.
But I don't even think it has to do with the teachers as much as it has to do with attention spans.
You think so?
I do think so. I think what's happening is because our attention
You could be right.
I think because as a people, our attention span is so smoked right now. And what I mean by that is this, TikTok right now is crushing YouTube.
Yeah.
The max length of time that you can watch a video on TikTok is 3 minutes.
That's the max amount.
That is the longest amount of time that you can spend on one video. Now, you will roll through hundreds of videos.
100 TikToks?
100%.
You do the TikTok, don't you?
I'm on TikTok a little bit. But the thing is, what's interesting about it is this. You have two ends of the spectrum. You have long form interview type of things like Rogan and stuff like that, and podcasts and those types of deals. And even some of the stuff that we've been able to do with some of the longer interviews and whatnot. So we in a way kind of fall into that side of things. But the other side of it is you have so many kids being born on a cell phone at this point where their attention span is completely. I don't know a child. I do not know a child who goes on a trip if it's 30 minutes or 5 hours that does not get on some form of electronics in the process.
Yeah.
This is how we.
That's our society.
That's exactly right. So
to
me, I think attention span has a lot to do with it.
Do you think we need to get to the point where every kid now apparently has a cell phone at school? And we're talking about.
And you're having to teach around
you're
it.
having to teach around it, or teach to it, or teach with it, or teach somehow or
All of the
another.
above.
I know there were some teachers at some point when you walked into their classroom, hey, here's a box, put your cell phone in it, and when you leave, you get the cell phone out and you get to go.
Exactly.
So I'm just wondering. But some of them just let them have them.
Well, and here's something interesting. The other day I was kind of feeling nostalgic.
Oh.
And I was just thinking about how I grew up and thinking about, some of the things I enjoyed growing up. And one of the things was, so I decided to practice an exercise that I did whenever I was younger.
Okay.
I left my phone at home and I went to the store. I went to the store.
Without your phone?
Without my phone.
Well, I do. I'm older. I am older, and I don't carry mine with me to the store hardly anymore.
It was marvelous.
I leave it. I generally plug it in, let it go.
I was walking around. I was not being probed or prodded by anybody. I was
You're not walking around with it in your hand.
I wasn't having anything vibrating. I wasn't checking TikTok in the rows, shopping down the lanes and whatnot. And honest to God, it was liberating in a way. I went home and cried.
Did you really?
No, actually I did not. But the thing is, to me, we're too attached, and I don't think we're getting away. We're not getting away from it. We're not getting away from it.
Jay, I've gotten to the point to where when I'm at home and I'm in my lazy boy, and that's more times than I care to think about, I will have a YouTube going on the television, and I'll have my cell phone in my hand looking at something at the same time.
How many people watch movies and have a cell phone in their hand watching something else?
Yeah,
we do that all the time.
I've done that more times than I care to think about.
It's super weird. It is super weird. It's almost like we can't focus on anything. And I think I think
Just
those
think what it's going to be like in 5 or 10 years.
if we're not overtaken.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, honest to God, if they show up, if they, the infamous they, show up between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock, they could take over the whole company, the whole country. You know what I'm saying? How they just roll in. We'd be like, man, what is that noise outside? Oh, it's just a couple of tanks, that rolled into the community. If you got something you want to chime in on, give us a call, 384-2626. That's 384-2626. Man, life is crazy, man. So a 4-day week.
A 4-day week. Do you know whether they're going to have Monday off or it'll be
I would imagine
Friday off? Or I'm guessing Monday because Friday you've got football.
Well, maybe
and
so.
God forbid, the whole day on Friday isn't revolving around football.
God forbid the whole school's not revolving around football. No, even the ones that are sorry. Even the ones that, and I hate to say this, but there's more money being spent on football in the state of Texas than academics, for sure.
Than real school, yeah. Oh, I know there is. Look, I was in the business for years and years and years. I don't think you know how much money is spent on football. Jay, when I was in school, my entire budget for the history department, and we're talking about 5 of us, was $1,200. Do you know what you can buy for $1,200 for 5 people? Nothing. Literally nothing. I could not.
A bunch of legal pads.
pens and paper and chalk.
Sure.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
For the entire year. I was desperate, and did everything I could to get maps.
Right.
I never could afford maps.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm sitting there going, but football, I need a new uniform this year, buddy. We're going to get us a new uniform.
New design, new logo.
New logo on the side of the helmet, new football.
It's got to look like the pros.
Artificial turf.
It's got to look like the pros because our future construction workers need to at least
look like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And here's the thing. And I'm not dogging off on all the kids because, what percentage out of Southeast Texas, what percentage of football players actually go on to the pros? Probably less than 2%.
I wouldn't even say 2%.
Well, I'm being generous.
Somebody called in last week, says they came up with somebody from Burkeville. Do you remember that phone call?
Well, yeah, that was back in the 70s.
Was it?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
I have no idea.
I thought they were presently in the league. I don't know.
I don't know. They might be. And more power to them.
And even the amount of kids who wind up with a scholarship to go play ball.
Yeah. So what's the word on Buna down there? My famed alma mater.
Yeah, well, I've worked. That's where I spent most of my career at. I have been receiving phone calls and texts and instant messages and PMs and whatever else you want to call it. People are not happy with being an independent school district at all. And they are expecting a huge turnover in teachers. As a matter of fact, the school is expecting a huge turnover in teachers, so much so that in February they offered a $500 bonus for any teacher to tell the office or the administration that they were leaving this year by the end of February. That way they can already go searching for new teachers to fulfill their position. So now the question is this, why don't they give that $500 to teachers to stay? Or does that make too much sense to me?
Man, that's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, but $500, if you're leaving here, let us know by end of February, there's your $500. That way they can already start the search for the new math or kindergarten or first grade or whatever. And my understanding is there are a bunch of teachers who are waiting until the last minute to let them know. I don't know why.
They're going to be cutting a fat check at the end of February.
Well, no. Yeah, they're not getting the check because they've already missed the check.
So we're past that.
They're past that. February. So they are not happy right now with being an independent school district.
Wow.
And a lot of people are not happy with the administration, especially faculty members, especially people in maintenance, especially people in the custodial services. A lot of people who work for Buna ISD are not happy with leadership at all.
Wow.
I guess I need to get a hold of some of the board of trustees. I think I've talked
Yeah,
3 or 4 of them,
sure.
and let them know, hey, what's going on down there?
Yeah, let's get them in the mix. I mean,
Yeah,
we can do a quick interview and you
and ask
know,
them what in the world's going on.
cause some more problems there for them, maybe. But
Like we're
honest to
not
God,
already in trouble enough.
honest to God, I don't see
Jay,
how.
why in the world do you want to teach school anyway?
That's exactly what I was fixing to
Think
say.
about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Beaumont ISD is running advertisements at the 6 o'clock news. Hey, will you be our teacher? And all I could think of was, hell no.
Hey, we will overlook the 2 felonies.
You think I'm kidding? You're kidding about that. You're kidding about that. If it's a felony that's not really, really bad, they will overlook it.
If it's a white collar crime, we'll deal with that.
You think I'm
It's
you
embezzlement.
kid? You
It's all
kid.
good.
As long as it's not sexual, as
Right.
long as it has nothing pretty much to do with money, but it's some
Right.
other felony like
Sure.
you've got,
Yeah.
5 DWIs or something like that. Oh,
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
no, we're good here.
You
You're
beat
good
you
here.
beat your spouse on
You
the radio.
good? Yeah,
that type of
yeah,
deal.
you're good.
Yeah,
You're
well,
good. Yeah, we
I
got a
don't know,
math
man.
job. We got a math job for you.
It really is crazy, man. Just how, I mean, they were in Oklahoma, and I don't know if anybody's out there from Oklahoma, but when we were there, when we were living there, they were actually, all you had to do was go take a teacher certificate course and
That's the way it is here now.
go right to it.
That's the way it is now. If you got a degree, makes no difference what the degree is in.
Yeah.
It's called a
Basket
district of innovation. And you got a degree, say, in basket weaving.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, you're our new geometry teacher.
So,
And we'll worry about you getting that math certificate later on.
Wow.
But, buddy, we're going to put you in that geometry class today.
The good part is for teachers who are just starting out, you have great resources out there at your beck and call. Udemy.com is great for learning subjects that you don't know about. YouTube has a number of training programs where you can actually go on there and get sharpened up. I mean, if you're honest to God, I mean, I remember Frances Perry.
Is she still with us?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
I have
Somebody
no
hear
idea.
us calling and let us know she's not
I have
with us.
no idea. I know
If she
this.
is with us or not.
Yeah, she was teaching history. She was teaching history
Okay.
just to get the check. She told us this on day one. I stopped with Plymouth Rock. And I can't stand history, but here I'm here to get the money, so let's go. Oh, turn to page 1. Go ahead, caller.
I just want to let everybody know. I know it's bad, but just so you know, April will be here before you know it, and then May 7th will be here, okay?
Yep.
But if you don't mind, I just want to let everybody know that on the utility issue, it's going to be on the ballot.
Yep.
It's going to be Proposition A, regulation of rate of municipally owned utilities. It's going to be says shall Article 10, Section 10.13. Shall that article be added to the city charter? The city of Jasper charter that requires the city of Jasper to change no more than 10% above the cost of any utility it provides to customers. So
Sure.
say yes or no. You want to vote yes for that. If you want that, you vote yes. That's going to be Proposition A on the ballot this coming May.
Okay.
And what date is that again?
May 7th, the first Saturday in May is when our elections are going to be here. The city elections here in July.
Sure. Okay.
And I want people to know that. You got a choice now. It's on the ballot, people.
Yep. Absolutely.
How you want to vote. You want them to stay the same, then you can vote no. I don't know anybody that doesn't want their utilities bills lowered, but don't believe the hype, and don't believe that they're like, oh, well, the taxes are going to go up. No, there's a cap on that. They can't scare you like that. So don't be afraid. Don't let it tell you that if you vote for this, and this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, this is going to go up, but that's going to go up. Not true. It's only going to go up if they want it to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this right here, if they vote yes for this proposition, then it actually will cap that amount that they can increase or that they can charge the people for the electricity.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what we pay for it. Whatever we pay for it,
is what you pay
we will
for.
not be able to charge over 10% of what we pay for it.
Gotcha.
Our price may go up, but whatever our price goes up to, now don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Whatever, if the city has an increase in their price that they pay for it,
Sure.
then they're still not going to be able to charge you over 10%. They can't go, well, now we got to charge 15%. We got to charge 12% because we got to make up for it. No, they can't do that.
Sure.
You can tap this bad boy by voting yes on this proposition.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you getting that word out.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, this is Not on the Payroll. Not on the Payroll. We're here with you every Thursday night, and to be honest with you, we are open for business. If you want to call us up and chime in a little bit, give us a call, 384-2626.
May want to talk, those of you in Jasper may want to call and talk to us about that 4-day school week you're fixing to have in September.
Right. Yep. And matter of fact,
pro or con.
Even going back to the electricity situation, it's kind of interesting that that this proposition that's going to be on the ballot is basically just capping the amount they can charge.
Right.
And so, it's not putting a flat rate or anything like that. It's just capping. So if they're purchasing, if whatever amount they're purchasing, but what's nuts is they can only charge 10% more than
what they're buying
is the maximum.
Right.
But no one, unless you pull out that, algorithmic formula, right. I think is what they call it.
Right.
Unless you pull out that formula, you won't have a clue what you're being charged. You still don't have a clue because it's not on. And matter of fact, here's what's crazy. In a world where we are coming to you live right here on YouTube, in a world where software is readily available, they say that the software that is currently used here at the city of Jasper does not have the ability to put kilowatt hours on there and show how much you're being charged.
What?
That's what I'm being told. Now, here's a fact. Okay? Here's a fact.
What year is this? 1955?
I don't know.
1933?
Yeah.
That's 1933 mathematics there.
This is what's being told. So, I mean, the thing is this. You've got $32 million. Go spend some of that on some new software, guys.
Well, they need to spend some of that so they know how much you're. Good grief!
So I just got this little note here sent to me about about Ernie Holmes, 1971. He was let's see here,
former football player for the Houston Oilers
and Pittsburgh Steelers too.
Yeah.
So I think he was out of Jamestown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also was a professional wrestler for a while.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
Interesting. Yeah, matter of fact, his I think his nephew is DeMarcus Holmes. So
really?
He's the city councilman. So there you go. Hey, something that bothered me this past week. If you want to chime in, call us 384-2626. But tell me what we're doing here, because we have a, how can I say this without cursing? We have a candy rear end generation here. And I'm wondering what's happened to us and how we slid so fast. It wasn't just long ago. I think we still have World War II veterans alive.
I'm sure there are, yeah.
There's a few of them still running around here.
Sure.
And I'll be honest with you. Whenever I heard the other day that schools were shutting down due to the rain, I'm sitting here going, now we're talking about a World War II generation where the baby boomers, if you remember this, I don't remember this. We actually had a couple of these at Buena whenever in the early 90s.
Right.
Preparing for a nuclear attack.
Right.
By telling the children, this is where we're at emotionally, ladies and gentlemen.
We used to crawl underneath. Yes.
Hands over your head.
When I was in elementary school, we crawled underneath our desk, put our hands over the top of our head.
Between your knees.
Expected the blast to occur.
But by God, if we all survive, we're getting back to this long division.
You betcha we're going to have fractions here if we all survive.
I don't know. And we all left. We got to leave early because the cloud just rolled in. Well, it's not raining, but the cloud rolled in.
No, we didn't even start school. And here's the deal, Jay. a bunch of the schools decided before they even knew what it was going to do,
Yeah,
we're going to cancel school for the day. A
exactly.
bunch of them said, well, we're going to start at 10.
Right.
Well, by 10 o'clock, it still hadn't come through, so they decided that, well, we're just going to cancel it for the
Cancel
day.
it all. Yeah.
And by 11 o'clock, we had sunshine.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, you're talking about World War II generation and
Yes, sir.
how tough they were. They were tough. And my grandparents raised 4 children during the Depression.
Wow.
Uncle's job was to set traps for squirrels and birds so they'd have meat to eat because food was rationed during World War II.
Right.
And there's a lot of men that would get a job with no pay just so they could say they had a job.
That is true. That is
My
true.
grandfather was the chief of the fire chief for Gulfport, Florida, and he got no pay for that job, but he had a job.
Right.
And now, like you're talking about those kids going to school, I walk 2 miles to school. I did. Now, if you're a half a mile from the school, they're going to send a bus to pick you up.
A mile, nothing. It's a quarter mile.
Oh, they changed it.
It's just a quarter mile. In a lot of schools, they don't even have it. You have to come pick you up no matter it's across the street.
Yeah. I tell you, man, it is really scary because here's the deal. You know, how old is Joe Biden?
78?
So he's
79.
He's 78, 79 years old. So he represents an older generation. I am scared to death to think what this generation is going to produce as leaders. I honestly am. I mean, I know everyone. Say it again.
They couldn't handle it.
I can't handle it now.
I would have to agree with you.
Exactly.
You know, we were talking before the show. You know, I mean, if you know, at this rate, you know, the everybody would be bedded in. They'd be bedded into their bunkers as the clouds were rolling in. You know, and they'd be griping about why they didn't have broadband down in their bunkers so that they could play internet games. And I don't know. To me, it's kind of frightening. And I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of parents out there they want to ooh and la la over their kid. But I swear to God, I mean, how many of your kid have we produced? How many children? I mean, I hate to say it like this, but we've got a lot of kids. We've got a lot of people out here. Just forget the kids as a whole. I ain't gonna beat up on kids too bad because they're just an expression of their parents. Worthless in a lot of ways.
Well, their parents are worthless.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're talking about the kids.
They
say both of them worthless.
No vision, no direction, no inspiration, no. It's crazy. It's almost like with what you're talking about that generation going out. His job was to set the traps. You know, this generation would sit here. I mean, if we ain't even got to have zombies attacking. I mean, if Louisiana just manned up and decided to come over here to Texas, I mean, we'd be hard pressed to drum up half a dozen guys.
It's just as bad there.
You know?
Just as bad all over this country.
Well, that's true.
Okay, look, 4.3 million.
We appreciate you calling,
sir. 4.3 million people quit their jobs in January in this country and didn't have another job to go to.
Right.
Just quit.
Yeah.
Just quit. What are they going to do?
I don't know.
They can't find people to work. Once again, we talked about this, I think, last week. You know, I know a guy who is a manager at a grocery store down in Orange County.
Sure.
He cannot find people to work, and he's paying well above minimum wage.
Sure.
And the people will come in, will put in an application, and they'll say, oh, yeah, I'll be here Monday morning at 9 o'clock to go to work. He hadn't seen them yet. He has not seen them yet.
Honestly, I think this is part of a decadent society, though. I think you lose a generation at a certain point. You lose maybe a couple of generations. Once society has gotten decadent enough to where they don't have to go hunt and gather. and all they have to do is go down to Brookshire's or Walmart. You have a decadent society. Well, what's nuts is anybody who's making over $30,000 a year on the government or otherwise is in the top 1% on the globe.
Yeah, that's true. Jay, Congress is already talking about giving checks every month to pay for your gasoline. That is the new thing that they just came out with yesterday. They're going to give everybody like $100 per person per month for your gasoline.
I'm telling
And
you.
already that's going to be plain and simple economics. That's going to cause more inflation. That's going to be too many dollars chasing too few goods and services.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
Just economics 101.
I don't know, man. Some people say pray about this, but I don't even know if Jesus could fix this.
I think Jesus give up on us.
I mean, you better find that horse and get on back here quick, because it's going to the birds. I do have something I want to share tonight, and I'd like you to listen up best you can. I have a little word of wisdom from the well, you can call me a wizard. I have a little bit of wisdom for you out here. There was a situation that happened in Florida this week. Okay. The situation was this: two professional fighters found themselves in a brawl of sorts outside of a restaurant. Okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look it up. There's a gentleman named Jorge Masvidal. He is a UFC fighter. And I've got a specific point for us here in East Texas, in Southwest, well, I think it'll be said Southwest Louisiana.
Yeah.
Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. A lot of you guys may have heard this. Maybe some of you haven't. But this is a warning to people out here. Okay. So if you don't know these guys, let me break it down for you real quick. Colby Covington is very, 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 how should I put it? He likes to talk a lot of smack to guys that he fights. He likes to talk a lot of noise. And he likes to bring up people's families. And he likes to bring up people's kids. And he likes to push the envelope as to what he talks about. Okay? He likes to talk a big game. Now, granted, he is a great fighter. All right? He's a great fighter. Jorge Masvidal, on the other hand, I don't know if you're familiar with Kimbo Slice.
I know Kimbo.
Kimbo Slice was a street fighter.
All right.
He's all over YouTube. You can look him up. Kimbo Slice. Jorge Masvidal comes out of his camp from street fighting. Walk into a backyard, fisticuffs, have plenty of lookouts and watchouts in the whole 9 yards, and let two men throw bare knuckle and whip each other to the ground. Okay? That's Jorge Masvidal. Okay? So what happens is Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington get into a squabble, into a fight. They actually fought here recently. But one of the things Jorge Masvidal stated was that he needs to stop talking about my family and needs to stop talking about my children. And he needs to stop. He can talk all the noise he wants to, but he needs to stop. He's going too far. Okay? Because if I find him outside of this arena, I'm going to blast him. Right? Well, this past week, he found him outside. And he teed off on him. And he beat him like a drum. Now, Jorge Masvidal lost the fight inside the ring. Okay? He lost the fight. Colby Covington is a wrestler. And he basically rode him for about 4 rounds and smoked him. And according to the judges, Jorge Masvidal lost the fight. Or lost the, what would we call it? The battle. Okay? Jorge Masvidal found him in the street and corrected some of the issues that he felt like he had stepped over, that Colby Covington has stepped over bounds in. Here's what I'm going to say to you. This is a parable, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of like Jesus. All you my disciples sitting out there listening, I want you to listen up. I say this and I'm trying to be sweet. There are guys out here who like to talk a lot of stuff. Okay? There's guys out here who like to talk noise. They like to talk about people's children. They like to drag kids into situations that they ought not be in. They like to drag families into situations that they ought not be in. They like to go after sponsors, and they like to do things out here that they ought not be doing. And here's what I'll say. If you ain't about that life, you might need to quit talking like you are. Because from where I'm coming from, there are men and women out here both who are about that life and are about causing problems out here in the street. And unfortunately, Colby Covington learned the wrong way. He learned that his mouthing got him in trouble in real life. And so I just say this. This is just an encouragement. And I mean this with the greatest bit of respect I can muster for my fellow human. But to be honest with you, out here in the streets, it's a different game, especially when you get families involved. So I would encourage you, if you're out there and you're talking, you need to go talk to yourself and look in the mirror, and you really need to check yourself and see if you're about that life in the street. I'm not putting no threats out here. I'm just saying, sometimes, I'm just saying, sometimes you go and cuss people out and you get ragdolled. Sometimes when you go and mishandle children, you get mishandled yourself. No threats, just telling you. It's a warning. Be warned. There are men and women out here who do not. I know some women in my family got no problem throttling up. I know men and women who are not kin to me. Got no problem. I know some women. I would put my money on over half the men I know. All I'm saying is this. We can have civil discourse. We can have civil communication. And we can even get a little hot under the collar. But let's all just make a good commitment to ourselves, because it's a good thing to look. It's a good thing to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you about that life? Are you about that? Because if you're not about that life, where you're willing to deal with things in the street, but you're talking like you are, if you're not about that life, you got to back up, because you're going to run across the wrong rednecks. You're going to run across the wrong backwoods hillbillies. You're going to run across the wrong people, and they aren't going to take it laying down. So I would just say this, and this is one of the things I encourage myself on a daily basis. See, we know ourselves better than anybody else knows us. We have a way of looking into our mind and looking into our past and really kind of adding up 2 plus 2. I'm doing a lot of talking. Am I about this? And if I'm not, I probably just need to be quiet and just chill out, or this thing may go bad. Have you ever run into people like that?
I have. Sadly.
How does it end up?
Generally, it does not end up well for the person who gets involved and gets people's family involved, because they're not willing to take on what's coming.
Right. That's true. Well, see, I remember a movie, one of my favorite movies. A guy says, he makes a statement. He says, listen, he's talking to his little brother who got his butt whipped.
Right.
He said, listen, here's the deal. We control the fear. We control the fear. Without the fear, we are nobody. Now, I'm all about love, and I'm all about us all coming together and sing some kumbaya. But I can promise you this. I can promise you. There are people out here who control the fear. And I would just encourage you out there. If you've been talking, just stop. That's all. If you've been running your mouth, just stop. You don't have to do that. We can have civil discourse. I'm very articulate. Carrie, you're very articulate.
Sometimes.
We've got no problem sitting down and talking.
No,
we got no problem communicating.
Not at all.
We actually love the place of discourse, because what it does is it allows us to share ideas. share ideas with each other. But if we want to start taking this stuff personally, which I'm not really taking this stuff personally, I'm letting the dogs lay where the dogs need to lay. There's going to come a day.
It's going to blow up in their face.
There's going to come a day. The dog's off the chain. It's going to be a problem.
Yep.
I would just say, ladies and gentlemen out there, you need to check yourself before you, what do they say? Wreck yourself.
Before you wreck yourself. Yes, sir.
It's potential to happen. I love you. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't been over to YouTube and subscribed, please go over and subscribe for us. We'd really appreciate it. May 3rd, get ready. May 3rd, get ready. It's going to be the debate between Weeks and Cochran.
Jay in a suit. I'd almost pay to see that.
Jay in a suit. It's going to be the first time I think I've ever worn a suit. Maybe except for prom. I wore one suit.
You wore a suit to prom. I remember that.
One suit. It was bright purple.
I remember that.
I looked like
How can you forget that?
I looked like a pimp rolling up in there.
Looks like a giant Barney.
Looked like a giant party. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you for listening. You have been listening to Not on the Payroll. And we love you. Have a great night.
Night, America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you for tuning in. Who hooked up with us here? Uncle Bucky threw up a high five, squeezing my cheeks. I don't even know who that is.
But
Lord God.
somebody knows me.
Said howdy, squeezing my cheeks.
That's somebody that knows me. I know that.
Hey, go over and go like, subscribe, and please share us. We would really appreciate that if you would share what all we're trying to do here. It been one of them weeks, man. Been one of them weeks. We love you guys.